Hey, Grace, are you there? I heard that your date last night didn't go well, did it? What is this now, the 10th guy that you've gone through? You're already 36 years old and you've never ever been in a serious relationship? Don't you think that's just a bit pathetic?
Excuse me? And just what is pathetic about wanting to take my time and make sure that I found the right person, huh?
I just mean that if you wait too long or act too picky, that no one is ever going to want to marry you. You really should just lower your standards and get married already. It would make things so much easier for you. Because you know that as you get older, it's going to get harder and harder to get people to think you're attractive.
I don't really care what other people think of me. Besides, I'm in no huge rush to try and get married right away. Besides, the person that I would want to marry wouldn't care about my age or how I look. In fact, it's been Mom this whole time who's been setting up these blind dates for me, but I never even asked her to.
Well, if Mom didn't do it for you, then who would? Although you'd probably rather date one of those dumb men from the romance novels that you read. You're such a loser. Do you know that? When are you going to get real? You realize that the written word isn't any kind of substitution for a real flesh and blood husband, right?
Literally, what are you even talking about right now?
Oh, please. I already know all about it from Mom. She tells me that you spend so much of your free time with your nose buried in a bunch of romance books. But you're almost 40 years old. It's time for you to put the books down and try experiencing life for once. If you don't do that, then people might start to think that you're some kind of creep or something. Don't you want to be happily married?
I am sorry, but Mom has no right to judge me for wanting to read books when all she does is watch TV all day. As for getting married, when the right person comes along, I'll know, and then we'll marry.
You really think that the perfect man is just going to walk right up to you, get on one knee, and propose to you right then and there? No, I know that you really have been reading too many of those romance novels. But do you really actually believe that at your age? I mean, do you think that's how dating works in the real world? Especially at your age?
And just what is that supposed to mean, huh? How stupid do you really think I am?
I don't think you're stupid. More just in denial and jealous of how much more successful my love life has been. After all, while I was getting married at 20, you were still lying to us about that made-up boyfriend that you had, remember? Now that was a new low for you. But it also was just so funny how pathetic it was.
It wasn't a made-up boyfriend, Sally. He was real.
Yeah, sure. It wasn't just someone that you came up with because I was getting married that year. And how could you not be jealous when my husband is so handsome and sweet and makes a ton of money on top of that? I mean, I'm sure you've seen my vlogging about just how amazing our lives together are. You are seeing all my posts about my life, aren't you?
No, actually, I haven't really checked out all your social media pages at all.
Wait, what? What do you mean? You have to go and look. I post something just about every single day. Like the other day, I was posting all about the new Porsche that my husband bought. And I included this in the caption, so you would know if you were following me. But it cost around $1 million.
Wow, your husband really bought a Porsche? I guess he must be doing really well at work then, huh?
Well, I can't really say that I'm all surprised, given I know just how brilliant he really is. Maybe it's time you admit that you have a couple of things that you would learn from me about how to find a husband. After all, we're only young in our lives once, and once it's gone, that's it. So maybe you should put just a little bit more work into finding a husband while you still have your youth. If you don't, then I can guarantee you now that you're going to end up old and lonely.
Well, thank you so much for all your well-meant concerns about me, Sally. But I want you to know that even when I am old, I would still rather be old and have stuck to my principles than unhappily married for several decades.
Oh, sorry. I should have been more clear. I'm not really worried about you at all. I'm really only concerned for Mom and Dad's sake. I mean, don't you feel bad for the two of them? Obviously, they thought you were going to be the first to move out, but you're still living with them. Don't you know how badly they want you out of the house already? You're nothing but a leech to them.
Are you seriously saying that I'm just leeching off of Mom and Dad? You really have no idea what you're talking about, do you?
Well, am I lying? If you think that I am, why don't you go and talk to Mom about this? Because she told me that she is sick and tired of having you at home. Both of our parents see it clear as day, the scam that you're trying to run on them. They call and text me every day just talking about how much they'd wish you'd just leave them alone already.
Is this supposed to be some kind of cruel joke or something like that? You really think that I'm going to believe a word that you're saying?
But everything I'm saying is true. All you do is use up Mom and Dad's money. And then you have the gall to try and tell me I'm wrong when you can't even take care of yourself. You know, Mom was actually crying to me over the phone the other day. She told me that thanks to you, she doesn't even have any money to buy clothes for herself.
Oh, come on, that is just ridiculous.
It's totally true that you just take all of Mom and Dad's money and just use it on yourself, right? And meanwhile, you make Mom and Dad take care of the house and do all of the cleaning while you go out partying all night. Although I can't imagine what it actually is that you're doing since you don't even have a boyfriend.
You have got some serious nerve talking to me like this, do you know that? And has Mom really said all of these things to you? Because I don't know if I believe that.
Well, I don't care what you believe because I already know that you're just awful. You do nothing to help out our parents while you live in their house and use them for their money. You're going to leave them penniless and make sure that every last cent of their savings has somehow been spent on you. You're the one that has some serious nerve treating your own family that way. Do you know that? Because you're nothing but a pathetic old maid who nobody is ever going to love. That's why you have to take out your frustrations on Mom and Dad, isn't it?
I can't believe that you are actually sending me messages like that. You are taking this way too far right now.
I can't believe that you still won't own up to the truth. Maybe this is why you can never find someone to date you. You just refuse to acknowledge any kind of truth.
Mom, are you there? I think you and I need to have a little chat right now. Do you really think of me as some kind of leech on you and Dad? Because I think we both know that that is just a bit ridiculous.
Wait, what? What do you mean? Where is this coming from all of a sudden?
I am talking about all the things that I just heard from Sally. She told me all about the conversations you two have about me behind my back. Do you really think that I'm just after yours and Dad's money? And that I forced you two to take care of the house while I go out all the time? Because I think we both know that I have never done that even once.
Grace, dear, what on earth are you talking about? You're always the one who is taking care of the house, and I've never said anything to the contrary. I think that your sister is just jealous of living so far away from us, so she's resorted to making up horrible lies about you.
Because I just want to make it clear now that the only financial role I play for you and Dad is helping Dad pay down his credit card debt. I have been working so hard for a year to try and repair his credit score and lessen the debt that he has. That's the only way that I control your money.
I know. And you have to know how grateful your father and I are for that. It's been such a relief seeing some actual money go into our savings account for once. We had been living in the red for so long before then.
I know, and there was no way that your retirement money was going to be enough for the kind of help that you two needed. That's why I've been helping you guys by giving you money every month. It was so that you could focus on paying down your debt.
Of course we all know that's true. In fact, the only reason why your father and I can't spend money how we used to is because you're insisting that we save so much.
Well, so then why did Sally think that I was putting all of the housework on you and Dad? Because I thought we agreed that if I paid for all of the utilities at home, that you and Dad said you would handle the housework. You told me that you would agree to doing it if I paid you $1,500 a month, remember?
I know, but I thought I told you that we need to raise that up to $3,000 a month or else it just wasn't going to cut it. But you told me, remember? You said that you know $1,500 would be enough for me. So basically, you denied your mom more money and still expect her to take care of the house. I don't think I'm being unfair in describing that if you basically forcing your dad to clean the house for peanuts.
I'm sorry, but I just don't see why you would need that much money given that I'm already paying for so much around here.
Because I have expenses that I need to cover as well, okay? And I don't need you making a big deal about the price. Did you know that last month I went through all the money you gave me just on food alone?
You only spent it all on food because you and Dad used it to treat yourselves to eating out all the time. And when you would cook at home, you went to the most expensive grocery stores for your ingredients. I'm sorry, but if you don't know how to spend your money wisely, that isn't my fault. You and Dad need to realize that the family business is not bringing in the money that it used to, and you two need to learn how to save for your futures.
But it isn't fair! I hate that cheap supermarket near our house. It's clear that everyone who shops there is so poor, and I stick out like a sore thumb.
Well, it's either learn how to spend your money wisely or go into debt again, okay? You do realize that when I get married, I'm going to move out of the house, and that means I'm going to be paying for a lot less. So that's why I'm trying to help you and Dad get your finances in order before that happens. Can't you see that it's for the good of you two that I'm doing this?
Oh, really? You have got some nerve pretending like you're doing this all from the good of your heart. And just what is this talk about you getting married when you don't even have a boyfriend? I wish that you would get married just so that you could finally leave us alone.
You don't really mean that, do you? Is that really what you want to happen?
It doesn't matter since you don't even have a man who could ask you to marry him. Although it isn't like I haven't tried setting you up with countless good-looking young men. Do you have any idea how hard it was to arrange some of those dates for you? If anything, I should be getting more money from you just for doing that service. Besides, at least if you did get married to someone, then between your two incomes, you could easily afford to give me $3,000 a month.
I really don't know what to say to that. Here I was thinking that you were just concerned about me. But now you come out and say that this whole thing was just a way for you to try and get more money from me?
Of course this is about the money. You've been living at home with your father and I for far too long now. Why else do you think I've been trying so hard to find someone you can marry? I want you to get out there, marry some rich guy, and make sure that your dad and I get a kickback.
Mom, I don't even want to have this conversation with you anymore. I'm going to marry someone for love, and that's it. And when I do marry, you and Dad aren't going to see another penny from me. Do you understand? Now I need to go and calm down and think about things. Sally, are you there? Please, you need to get back to me right away. Have you been in contact with Mom and Dad lately? I just got back from work and neither of them are home. Do you have any idea where they might be? Even all their things are gone. The house is practically empty. Do you have any idea what might be going on here?
Oh, I think I have a very good idea. After all, Mom and Dad are sitting right here next to me. And they are both just so happy about how much they were able to sell the house for. So, the three of us are all together to celebrate a job well done on our part.
Wait a second, what do you mean they sold the house? I don't understand.
Well, the house is empty. You said so yourself, right? And the reason is because Mom and Dad decided to sell the house and the land it was on. Which means that you might want to start packing up your bags and getting ready to leave too. Because you certainly won't be able to stay there much longer.
Wait a second, are you serious? Did Mom and Dad seriously try and sell that house? When did this happen? Why wasn't I told about this at all until now? I mean, I can't just come home to the news that the house is gone. That isn't fair.
Aw, yeah. I guess this means that you'll have to find another place to live right away, huh? Sucks for you, ha ha ha. But then again, this is what you get for being such a little leech on Mom and Dad until now. You don't deserve to stay with them. So I say that this is what you get.
You still really think that I've been leeching off Mom and Dad this whole time?
I don't think, I know. I know that you're almost 40 and you're still expecting your Mom and Dad to take care of you. Well, I'm glad that Mom and Dad finally wised up to what you were doing to them. I talked to Mom and she told me that she would much rather live with us rather than you. That's why we kept this a secret from you. But now the house is sold and there's nothing you can do about it.
So then Mom and Dad are going to be moving in with you and your family instead?
That's right. And you're going to be left out in the cold with no one to take care of you anymore. Mom and Dad knew this was the only way to get you to stand on your own 2 feet and finally find yourself a man.
I don't believe it. I never would have guessed in a million years that Mom and Dad would have done this to me. And I'm even surprised about your husband. You two haven't even been married that long, but he's going along with this?
He was more than happy to let Mom and Dad come and live with us, actually. Now I'm going to take care of Mom and Dad and make sure I get all the inheritance.
What inheritance are you talking about? There is nothing left if they sold the house. After all, Dad's business is more of a liability than an asset right now.
Well, I'll still get the money that they got from the house. Besides, I would be more concerned about finding out where you're going to live.
Oh, I'm not worried about that at all. If Mom and Dad sold their house, I'll just go and live with my boyfriend.
Is that your way of saying you're going to try and make a little hut for yourself out of all your romance novels? Too bad the men from those books aren't real. No one's going to come and save you now.
No, I meant I'll just go and live with my flesh and blood boyfriend. But anyways, enjoy ruining your marriage by living with Mom and Dad. Hope that goes well for you. After all, if you're taking care of them, that just means that it'll be up to you to help with their debt now.
Their debt? What do you mean by that? I thought Dad was able to sell his company for a ton of money.
I don't know where you got that information from, but Dad did not sell his company. In fact, it's on the brink of bankruptcy, actually. Mom and Dad were both going into so much debt just to keep the business afloat.
No, that can't be right. I mean, Mom told me that it was a huge sale. She told me that her and Dad were going to be set for life.
I see. So it was Mom who gave you the bad information. Well, I'm sorry to break it to you, but I'm only telling you the truth. In fact, this has been a problem with them for a while. They both just never could wrap their heads around making less money. And their spending habits only worsened because of that. They ended up in a cycle of taking out new loans to pay back their old ones.
I don't believe this. Why didn't I know any of this? This is crazy.
Well, one of the reasons why I stayed with Mom and Dad so long was because I was helping them restructure their finances. If anything, I'm just glad that it's not my problem anymore.
But then, if all they really have is debt, that means that I'm not going to get any money from them at all.
Yeah, but at least you have your Porsche-buying husband to help you out with that. Don't worry, I'm sure that all of you will be able to figure this out and get along with each other, right? In the end, Sally did end up sticking to her word and let Mom and Dad move in with her and her husband. A part of me hoped that living together would have pushed them towards humility, but instead it just brought out the worst in them. Now it wasn't just Sally, but even my mom who was posting pictures of social media of her showing off the fancy house, car, and everything else that Sally and her husband owned. But it wasn't long before commenters on their posts were accusing them of leading a fake rich lifestyle that was all just for show. This all came to light when it was discovered that between all of them, they had well over $100,000 in debt. The last I heard, Sally's home was being repossessed and they all had to move into a cramped apartment together so they could all focus on their debt. Of course, how well that's going in practice is a whole nother question.
Hey, Karen. How's your mom doing? She's doing better now. She was discharged from the hospital yesterday. But she still can't walk, so she'll be in a wheelchair. That means she needs someone to take care of her from now on. Oh my God! Really? I was so surprised when I heard she broke her leg in front of our house. It's been what? A month, right? I thought she was getting better. I can't believe she'll need a wheelchair from now on. I called my brother several times, but he didn't pick up. Have you heard anything from him? I don't know if he's ignoring me on purpose. Josh has really been busy, so I contacted you on his behalf. I'm such a perfect wife, don't you think? I see. So, who's going to take care of her? Of course you're going to take care of her, right, Karen? We can't do it, okay? We have 2 kids, and it's just too much. You, on the other hand, are 40 years old and still single. You have plenty of time to take care of your mother. You still live with your parents, so don't you think it's perfect? Now you have even more reason to stay in your parents' house. I still live with my mom because my father passed away a few years ago. I was living alone at the time, but I moved back home because I was worried about my mom, who got depressed after Dad's passing. It's not like I'm still depending on my mom. Whatever. I didn't ask for your life story. I'm just explaining my side. Besides, I have no intention of getting married in the future. Jesus Christ! You sound so miserable. Are you serious? Don't you mean you can't get married even if you want to? I guess you can't read properly. Just leave me alone, please. Does my being single bother you? No, right? You're not bothering me now, but you might bother me in the future. Huh? What do you mean? Just think about it. If your mom passes away, the next person you will depend on will be your brother, which means my husband. I won't do that, so please don't worry. Oh, I don't think so. I'm 100% sure you're planning to depend on us. I guess talking to you is just a waste of time. I have a visitor coming over right now, and I need to clean up. Can I go now? I'm not done talking. Just so you know, I can't take care of your mother. I'm already working on taking care of my mother, so don't worry. Oh, really? That's good. Oh, well, you've never done anything to make your parents proud. I guess this is your last chance to do something for your mom. So, you say you're working on it, but what are you going to do? Put her in a nursing home? No, my mom said she doesn't want to go to a nursing home. I will take care of her in this house. What? In such a shabby house? To be honest, I feel sorry for your mom. She's the one who said she wants to stay in this house. Besides, we are planning to renovate the house so she can use her wheelchair more freely. That's why a remodeling company is coming to visit our house. I'm going to talk to them and get an estimate. What? Remodeling is expensive. Don't tell me you want us to pay for that. We're not paying for it. Don't you ever depend on us. I'm not expecting you to pay for it, so don't worry. I will bear all the expenses. Are you sure about that? Do you have that kind of money? Just don't worry about it. I will take care of all the expenses. I promise not to put a burden on you. In return, please promise to leave us alone. Please don't interfere when it comes to the house and the way I take care of my mom. Okay, whatever. I'll talk to my brother about this too. But are you sure you're okay with it? I just told you, don't worry and please leave us alone. Right. You said that, not me. I'm not gonna help you with anything. My name is Karen. I'm 40 years old and single, living with my mom. I have an older brother, Josh, but to be honest, we don't get along very well. He has always been a self-centered person. When my father passed away in a car accident, all he was concerned about was the inheritance. Josh married Candace 3 years ago. She's just like Josh, a selfish person. I can't believe what she told me earlier. She never cared about our family, and she always thinks I'm after their money. Well, we have no intention of relying on them at all. I love my job, and to be honest, I have no interest in marriage at the moment. I am happiest when I'm working, and I think there's nothing wrong with staying single. I am paid a very high salary compared to the average office worker. That's why expenses for renovations is not a problem at all. Not only did we have an elevator installed and made bigger rooms, we took this opportunity to do a complete renovation. The renovation turned out great. Our house looks like a new house. However, even though I live at home with my mom, most of the time I leave early in the morning for work and come home late. So we decided to hire a live-in caregiver. Luckily, a single mom who is a qualified caregiver was willing to work for us. She has a good personality and very skilled worker. Of course, we pay her a reasonable salary. We also provided her with her own room and offered her to live with her kid in our house. She is a very hard worker, and my mother treats her like real family. Things have been tough, but I'm happy that everything is going well for now. Hey, Karen! What the hell is going on? What's wrong? Oh my God! You told me that the remodeling of my parents' house is finished, so I went to check it out. It looks amazing! Oh, about that? Yeah, I heard you came yesterday afternoon. My mom told me. I'm surprised that you remodeled that much. The bathrooms and toilets look like a spa. It looks like a completely different house now. Well, we completely remodeled and reconstructed the house. That's why it took a lot of time to finish. This is not fair that you are living in the house. To be honest, I don't like the caregiver that you hired. She's a stranger, but she's too close to your mother. It's weird. What's wrong with it? She's just doing her job. She works hard and has been good to my mother. I'm thankful to her. No, it's really weird. I can't believe she's living in the house. Well, she's a live-in caregiver. My mom needs help all the time, so I don't know why you keep saying it's weird. Why is the caregiver's kid also living in this house? They are using this house like it's their house. And her kid being too close to your mom, too. It's not her grandma, but the kid calling her grandma is weird. Your mom seems to be having more fun talking to the caregiver's kids than our kids. Well, that's just the way it is, isn't it? They live in our house, so of course they are closer than your kids. Besides, your kids were playing games all day yesterday. They didn't even respond when my mom tried to talk to them. Of course, she prefers to spend time with the caregiver's kid. Besides, you have no right to say anything. Anything about the house or about my mom? You promised not to interfere in any way from now on, didn't you? Did I? I don't remember that promise. You must be mistaken. Oh, God. I contacted you today because I wanted to tell you that from now on, we're going to live in the house. What do you mean? Do I need to explain it to you? Thanks to you, the house is renovated and looks like a new house. I really appreciate you for that. Well, now we've decided to stay in the house so you can go. What are you talking about? I renovated that house. I'm also paying for the caregiver. Why should I leave? You are paying for that caregiver? I can't believe it. They have free rent. You don't have to pay anything for them. What? They're here for a job. I just can't believe what you're saying. If your family's going to live in the house, how will you take care of my mother? We'll continue to have caregivers take care of her. I have no time to take care of your mother. Can you pay the caregiver? Well, if you give us this house, we won't have to pay rent. And I guess I'll be able to make do with that. Caregiver salary is like, what? $2,000 per month? Are you serious? If your family's going to live in the house, please pay the fee that I paid for the renovation. What? There's no way I can pay for that. First of all, since you are a useless member of the family, you should pay for everything. Raising a child costs money. Meanwhile, you are single and with no kids. You must have plenty of money. What do you mean by that? It sounds like you think you are superior just because you have kids. I don't agree with any of that. I have no obligation to pay anything. We decided to stay in the house even if you don't want to. I will do whatever it takes to get rid of you, so be prepared. I think you'd better get ready to move out while you still can before things get worse. Hey, what the hell do you think you're doing? You can't just change the locks on my house without my permission. Why do you think I did it? Do you have any proof? I got a call from my mother and her caregiver. They told me everything. You suddenly stormed into the house and told them that your family's going to live in this house. You also told them that they have to follow everything you say. I won't let you do that. How did you get into the house anyway? I made a duplicate key when I visited the house the other day. Yay! My plan worked! I can't believe it. You know, that house is already in my name. What you're doing is a crime. Do you know that? Shut up! You're overreacting. I am not. I heard you hurt the caregiver's kid when she started crying. Have you lost your mind, Candace? You can't do this. Shut up! This house is ours now. I don't need you to tell me what to do. Well, good luck finding a new house. It's your fault for not leaving the house when I told you to. Oh, really? Well, I have a plan too. Be prepared. Hey, it's not fair to call the police. I'm your brother's wife. How could you do such a thing to your family? Thanks to you, they took me to the police station for questioning. It wasn't me. It was my mother who called the police. What? You're lying. I'm not lying. My mother told you to leave the house, didn't she? You have no right to enter this house because this is my house. I'm pretty sure my mom warned you before calling the police. But what did you say to my mother? You yelled at her that it's your house now. Even when the caregiver tried to stop you, you yelled at her, hurt the kid, and threatened not to pay her salary if she talked back to you. What you did is a crime. Whatever! You guys love to overreact. No, we're not. I'm going to press charges against you. I'll tell the police everything that happened. I won't let you do that. If you do that, I'm going to go to your house right now and talk to that caregiver, so she won't say anything to the police. I'm pretty sure she'll listen to me if I threaten her again. I've had the locks change again, so you won't be able to enter the house anymore. What? We are ready to file a damage report now. You will be arrested in no time. No way! You made a duplicate key without our permission, broke in illegally, and even abused the caregiver's kid. Do you think you can get away with all of that? You don't have any proof that I did it. Police won't take you seriously. I have proof. What? Oh, you didn't notice. When we renovated the house, I also installed CCTV in this house. The camera caught everything you did, so I have proof. Oh my God! Please, stop it! I will apologize, okay? I'm sorry. Please forgive me. Just so you know, my mom says she wants to disown your family. Why? Why? First of all, Josh never cared about Dad. He only cared about the inheritance. When Mom was in the hospital, he never contacted her or me. This time, he only cares about the new house that I renovated. And you've always been selfish, just like my brother. I can't believe what you did to my mother and our caregiver. What you did is unacceptable. I have no intention of contacting you or your family in the future. I will block your contact information as well. I'm sorry. Please forgive me. This will never happen again. Please. Hey, Karen. Please.
Hey, Karen, what the hell are you doing? Candace got arrested because of you.
Wow, it's been a while, Josh. Good to know that she got arrested. Just so you know, it's not my fault. How dare you say that? Do you know how much you hurt my mother? I can't believe you let your wife do terrible things to us. I feel ashamed that you are my brother. Please do not show your face to me ever again.
Hey, I'm begging you. Please withdraw the charges. The kid won't stop crying. I never took care of them by myself, you know. It's seriously causing me so much stress that Candace is not home.
Are you serious? Did you even read what I said to you?
I did. I'm sorry for what I did. Just please help us.
All right, I have a condition.
What's the condition?
I want you to promise in writing that you'll never get involved with Mom, me, or the caregiver again. In other words, you will cut all ties with us. And also promise me that you won't come within a 100-meter radius of her house. Then I will withdraw the charges.
Why do I have to promise you that?
Oh God. I gave you one chance and you ruined it. Good luck raising your kid by yourself. Either way, we're cutting you off. We're not going to have anything to do with you in the future. Don't you ever come near us again.
Okay. I promise you in writing or whatever. I don't want to take care of the kids.
You're such an asshole. My lawyer will contact you from now on. Bye. Thanks to my lawyer, my brother signed a legal document stating he will sever all ties with our family. He is legally bound not to approach within the 100-meter radius of our house. Moreover, if he violates this agreement, he must pay a hefty fine of $10,000. Of course, I requested Candace to sign a similar legal document. With these legal assurances, I finally have peace of mind. Honestly, Josh and Candace are a perfect match for each other. However, their selfish nature often leads to conflicts. I can't help but feel sorry for my niece and nephew caught in the middle. Oh well, since I've severed ties with Josh, it's no longer my concern. Each day, I feel happy spending time with my mom, our caregiver, and her child. Since we hired the caregiver, my mom's mood has really improved. She's making great progress in her rehab and can walk on her own now. Seeing her get better makes me so happy. I think getting rid of the things that stressed her out has helped her recover faster. From now on, I'm dedicated to loving and supporting my mom as she continues to get better.